Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content,
but viewer discretion is advised.
Now enjoy the show.
We begin this week in Hebron to celebrate the fire department's 100th birthday.
We'll hit the sand with the Delaware Department of Natural Resources as we attend a beach driving clinic.
Scorchy Talls hits the water of the Tangier Sound in search of the big reds.
And we'll see what oyster farming is all about in Kent County, Maryland.
Outdoors Delmarva starts right now.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show that celebrates our communities, our cultures and traditions, and the places we call home. My name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch.
Hey, Lauren, I just wanted to tell you that I think your hair looks wonderful and your skin is glowing these days.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, really, I mean it. I mean, you look great.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. But where did that come from?
Oh, it's chapter 1 in this new book that I'm reading, How to Not Get Stabbed by Your Pregnant Coworkers.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
Celebrating 100 years is a milestone for any organization, especially a small town fire department.
Or in Jason's case, a personal achievement worthy of all 100 candles on his birthday cake.
You know, I really hope your daughter gets her sense of humor from her dad.
In 1890, Hebron, Maryland, named for the biblical city, consisted of a train depot, a store, and a colonial dwelling. Within 5 years, a lumber manufacturing plant was created and a small town began to take shape. Unlike many of the other small towns on the Delmarva Peninsula that formed along rivers, Hebron utilized the railroad for its foundation. With the immense farmland surrounding the town, by the 1920s, Hebron became an agricultural hub for Wicomico County. And in 1926, the Hebron Volunteer Fire Department was created. The cost of the first firehouse was estimated at around $8,000. And in order to raise the funds for that building and the necessary firefighting equipment, the original members decided to create a town carnival. With the funds raised by the carnival, the fire department was able to build the new firehouse and purchase their first piece of equipment, an American LaFrance 1910 model fire engine from New York at a cost of $3,500. The carnival is still an active fundraiser for the fire department, but it didn't always look like it does today.
Basically in 1926 as a campground where they had kind of like camp revivals and stuff, and then from there it kind of turned into what you see now with rides and food stands, games, bingo, pretty much a little bit of everything.
After the town's first well was drilled and subsequent water lines installed in 1938, the fire department needed a way to transport said water from the station to where it was needed most. So in 1947, the department purchased another piece of equipment, a tanker truck with a 500-gallon capacity at a cost of $12,000. Over the department's 100 years of service to not only the town of Hebron, but also to surrounding communities, they have become pillars of all that embodies the spirit of Delmarva.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, which is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Driving your vehicle onto the beach for a bit of surf fishing or family fun is an activity many of us look forward to each year.
But doing so is more than just making sure you pack the sunscreen and the fishing poles.
So what is a surf fishing vehicle permit? It's comprised of 3 different things: the tag itself, the decal that goes on it, as well as the receipt. You have to carry the receipt with you at all times. It basically stands in as a general fishing license for all the areas that are designated for surf fishing. The vehicle equipment. First, you don't have to necessarily have a long handle shovel, but I would like a long handle shovel. You know why? I want to save my back. You know, it's kind of a pain to dig out. Plus, I really don't want to be getting too close to a vehicle that's sitting on sand, and that's going to give you some distance from it. you really want a tire pressure gauge that can read below 20. You want to be between 50 and 20 psi. And why is that? Because you're literally going to, as he said, widen and lengthen the footprint of your tire on the sand. That's going to hopefully give you some more traction. The jack, that's going to be really important. This wooden board is also really important. What don't you want to do with that wooden board? Put it under the tire, exactly, because what's going to happen if you start trying to accelerate with a wood? It's going to spit it out, it's going to turn it into a projectile, and now you might end up hitting somebody. That's a bad day for everybody involved, right? It's specifically to create a surface on which that jack can rest so that it doesn't sink down into the sand. So the reason that you want to keep all of this equipment on hand is so that you can potentially ask somebody else, hey, I've got the equipment, I need to be snatched, can you help me out, right?
One other thing about parking, so the reason we kind of swing around and face the dunes is we want to go straight back. We don't want to have to turn our wheel, because if we turn our wheel when we're not moving, this starts to happen, right? We start to dig in, we start to build up sidewalls, and that's a really good way to get yourself stuck. So one row of vehicles, right? We don't want to be stacked, as I'm sure Mike talked about. That creates dangerous situations if there's an emergency. Your plates, your tags are visible, so it's nice and easy for the rangers to see that you're supposed to be here. It's really hard to explain how it feels to drive on the beach in a classroom or online, right? Really the only way you can get used to how the vehicle moves, how you need to back up, keep yourself safe, is by getting out and doing it. We have a lot of people who come to the program and they're like, oh, I'm worried I'm gonna get stuck on this program, everybody's gonna laugh at me. And then, they go through and they're nice and happy by the end, feel like they can go out and do it by themselves. So that's a really rewarding experience.
We always say turn off traction control. You don't want something else mitigating between you and what your vehicle's doing. And we always say no to low and put it in 4 high, right? These are the basic settings that you're going to need to be out there. The other thing is you really want to avoid standing water or anything that kind of looks like a dark area that's going to be really soupy. You're going to get stuck in that pretty quickly. Tide and time wait for no man, especially when you're surf fishing. That tide's going to keep coming in and it can sneak up on you. And all of a sudden you can find yourself in a scenario where you're sitting in very wet sand, right? So you want to be aware of that. You also don't want to drive in the dunes. You're going to get fines, but it also could ruin the dunes. The dunes are what protect the tides from overcoming the beaches and then showing up on Route 1 and flooding Route 1 out.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
We all know how much Scorchy Taws loved to fish, and he loved sharing his fishing stories.
And boy, did he have a ton of fishing stories. But I don't think we've ever seen him get as excited about a big fish like we see when he went out looking for red drum.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taws, thanks to Bayside Jet Drive in Berlin, Maryland. Your next adventure awaits at Bayside Jet Drive, one tide at a time.
On Sunday, Tim Taws and I had to make a long run in brisk winds across Tangier Sound to find clean water. We knew we were okay when we saw a super fisherman, an osprey, fishing the same area. We had a strike immediately.
Blue?
Yeah.
Blue one.
There are plenty of good-sized blues in the shallows this year. We're talking 3 to 6 feet of water, and that may be why speckled trout are somewhat scarce. Although we did boat one of 2.5 pounds plus this 5-pounder. These two were not fortunate enough to be released as they were headed for the pot. One red drum did evade us when for some unknown reason the line parted. We would have released him anyhow, but videotape would have been nice. On Wednesday, Dale Timmons and Herb Wirtz joined us aboard the Shutterbug, and it was back to the shallows, where action was fairly consistent throughout the trip. Again, there were lots of good-sized blues, and we landed and released most. Some, however, released themselves.
You get him over. Uh-oh.
Yeah, 8:30
Did something break?
You bit the hook off.
What are you laughing at, Herb?
Still doing it.
Yeah, what are you laughing at, Herb?
Admittedly, bluefish provided the bulk of the action. They weren't the fish we were seeking, but they made sure we wouldn't sink into the pits of boredom, if there's any such thing as boredom in the wonderful world of fishing. If it is, we haven't been bothered by it. There's always beauty to behold and camaraderie to bask in. Yeah, the bluefish held center stage for quite a spell. Then the exotic species took over. I managed to hook 2 speckled trout, one of which ripped off at the boat. Then Herb hit the jackpot.
Big drum, Dale. Good Lord, he's a big one. He's a nice one. Let's go easy now. He's gonna make another run. That's a big drum.
The big drum exploded, then made his last bid for freedom by swimming under the boat. However, he was tiring fast.
Trying. Nice fish.
Pretty, ain't she?
We estimated the big red at 45 pounds. The hook was removed, and we returned him to the water to live and fight another day. We settled down to await the next strike. It didn't really matter to any of us whether it came or not.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is sponsored by Bayside Jet Drive. Online at BaysideJetDrive.com.
Did you know that surf fishing is a generic term used for any type of fishing from the shore to include rock jetties and fishing piers?
Did you know that when only fishing from the beach itself, the more accurate term is surf casting or beach casting?
And did you know that surf casting rod lengths can vary anywhere from 7 to 18 feet long?
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, which is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
I don't know about you, but I love me some oysters. Raw, steamed, Rockefeller, casino, fried, or frittered. It don't matter. Let's get at her.
Pump the brakes, bivalve boy. Before they get to your plate, a farming company in Kent County, Maryland is out there working on the water instead of the fields.
A lot of folks don't understand how oysters go from the water to the table. And you provide that process with what you guys do. How did you get into that?
So I'm originally from the shore. I'm originally from Chestertown. I grew up on the water recreating, never worked commercially on the water. I went away for school and I found myself in DC working desk jobs. I just was feeling unfulfilled. I didn't like being inside all the time. I wanted to come back to the shore. So yeah, I just kind of started reading about it and played around with it a little bit in hobby form for a while, and actually worked part-time in a couple farms briefly. And I figured, I might be able to do this.
And so you decided that farming oysters was the way to go versus, just going out and dredging.
Right, so not having the commercial fishing background wasn't ingrained in me as much to do it the traditional way. I think the Chester in particular is an interesting case because it used to be full of oysters. It used to have a lot of oysters. Because of changing land use, there's less natural reproduction. The state's not seeding it anymore like they used to. So really the only way I could see starting a farm in the Chester was to actually farm them myself and put them there as seed. It pumps water, so raw ambient water from the cove, which is really nutrient dense and rich in food, and it brings it up into this tank, into this trough, and the only way for the water to escape is actually up through screens that the oysters are sitting on, and then out these exhaust tubes back in the creek.
It feels much bigger than what you just see is, there's an oyster in the shell.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So when we get our seed every year, they're about 1 millimeter in size, so a grain of sand or so. You can fit 500,000 oysters in a bag that's the size of a small watermelon. And that will grow and multiply in size many times over by the time it reaches your plate. So we have to actually go out and undertake the process of husbandry, which we saw earlier, because otherwise the oysters would just run out of room to grow. Yeah, and the whole point of like the floating cage is that you can tell it's being moved. They're being moved by the wind and the wave energy, and that means that inside the bags, the oysters are kind of moving around. They're having all these micro collisions. They're banging into each other, and that creates like a really uniform, dense shell as a result. So farmed oysters grow so fast that you almost have to slow them down by some process, whether that's moving gear, or you take them through the tumbler and you tumble them all the time, and they're banging around in that tumbler. That actually creates a denser shell. It's easier to shuck.
In your opinion, do you feel like oyster farming is more or less sustainable as far as environmental and food production goes?
I think here we define sustainability in that as long as we're able to get seed every year, we can have a crop. So it's very similar to land farming, where you need to actually be able to plant your crop. If you don't have the seed, it's sustainable only for a few years once you sell off your product. So we look at it that way in terms of a business model. In terms of environmental sustainability, it is very sustainable. It's actually restorative because we're creating habitat for bait species out there with our gear. The oysters are filtering the water, they're removing nutrients when we harvest them. The nitrogen and phosphorus are being stored in the shell and the tissue. There's actually credits you can sell on the market as a result of that. So it's very sustainable in that sense, as long as we're able to get seed, and the oysters themselves are very restorative. I think it's one of the most sustainable proteins you can get.
For those who are new to the area and just have no idea, no concept of what's being a waterman and what a waterman process is, what's the one thing that you want them to absorb right out of the gate?
Whether it's oysters or whether it's locally caught fish or crabs, people put a lot of effort, time, money, and investment into actually bringing these things to you in a safe, sustainable manner. So I think it would just be an appreciation for food and where it comes from.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
It's time to flip through the photo album and take a look at your latest pictures.
Thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
When it comes to getting excited over a big fish, Ken Boggy of Greensboro has the right idea. He reeled in this black drum from the surf on the Virginia side of Assateague. This monster came in at 46 inches and weighed 66 pounds. Good googly moogly.
George Ball of Ocean Pines sent in a couple of photos he took on Marina Village area of a river otter and a great blue heron. Great pics, George.
Randy Hunt of Easton may have photographed one of the most perfect rainbows we've ever seen.
And David Asplin of Hurlock stunned us with this sunset photo from the Honga River. Simple, calm, and pure Delmarva beauty.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thanks so much for sending in those great viewer photos. If you have a photo that you'd like to submit, you can go to outdoorsdelmarva.com and click the banner at the top of the page or scan the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen.
We hope that you have a safe and wonderful 4th of July weekend. Happy birthday, America. And of course, we hope to see you right back here again next week. But until then, my name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch, and we hope to see you Outdoors Delmarva.
You've been watching Outdoors Delmarva, a Draper Media production, which is proudly presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Bell Creek Equipment. For farm, home, or fun, Bell Creek is #1. By Rudy Marine, where family boating begins. By Larry's Trading Post, located in West Ocean City with over 2,000 guns in stock. By Bayside Jet Drive, your new adventure awaits at Bayside Jet Drive, one tide at a time. And by Delaware Forest Service, conserving, protecting, and enhancing Delaware's forests since 1927.
You did it. Oh, yeah.